Nigga everywhere I go, man. Juicy J, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, spin that shit.
Memphis nigga everywhere I Memphis nigga everywhere I go.
Nigga everywhere I go.
Memphis nigga everywhere I go.
Nigga everywhere I go.
Eyes all red like city gear. Nigga. Draw down on him, make a fuck nigga, give it here. Jeff number 1, I'm the rookie of the year. Wanna see a mad tree, make a nigga disappear. Real Memphis nigga when I'm looking in the mirror. Yo,
Memphis nigga everywhere I go, this the remix.
Ay.
Memphis nigga going up like the G-Mix.
Ay. Everybody outside, it's the freak nigga. Memphis nigga everywhere I go. Fuck nigga. Memphis nigga everywhere I go. Let's get it.
Memphis nigga everywhere I go.
Let's get it. Memphis nigga everywhere I go. Let's get it.
Memphis nigga everywhere I big head ass hoe. Memphis shit, that's how I feel. Jet might check me a hoe, might flame me a hoe. Spit a little game on a hoe. Never spent change on a hoe. Memphis nigga everywhere I go.
He ain't even been to the city before. Fuck nigga. He ain't even been to the city. He ain't even been to the city before. Let's get it. Nigga came once, but he can't come back no more. These Memphis nigga when I drop my low. Yo, nigga want smoke, let's go. Yo, bitch want smoke, fuck nigga, I call Big Glow. Yo,
Memphis bitch everywhere I go. Okay. Memphis bitch everywhere I let's get. Memphis bitch everywhere I go. Okay. Memphis bitch everywhere I on the count. Memphis bitch everywhere I go. Might take a bitch nigga, might take a nigga home. Riding down French be coolin' with some hot boys, still doing donuts in the smoke. Getting money ass bitch, that's me. That's me. Tomato fruit M's and I still want more. Now Memphis bitch got hard. Win, lose, or draw, bitch, I still want smoke. I ain't shit but 25. Let's go. Already a legend up in my city. Bump down, bump 3-6. Hey man, play me some of that pimpin'. Gangsta ass bitch, stay muggin'. Everywhere I go, I'm thuggin'. Memphis bitch, everywhere I go. Let's go. And everywhere I go, they love me.
Yeah, Memphis nigga everywhere I step through. 3-6 Mafia and gangsta boo. You know what it is, my nigga. My city full of gorillas that ain't from the zoo. North Memphis nigga so infamous. Rest in peace, Lord Infamous. Old school nigga with the pole in the cut. I hear making easy money tryna pimp a slut. Fraser Boulevard in a car all candy. South Memphis bitch, she ain't wearing no panties. She ain't never been nowhere outside our city. I'm a draper in Dior and I'ma take it to the Grammys. Memphis nigga everywhere I step on the scene. Ride through Evergreen, blowing get it green. Give a little bad bitch a hug. With all this water on me, she gon' have a wet dream. You don't know nothing about Hyde Park. You don't really wanna stop by after dark. Even Nick K's know the city I'm reppin'. Have a nigga scat pack go to 60 seconds. 20 years plus I done been in this thing. And a nigga like me ain't never gon' change. Rollin' up dope while I'm sitting so close. I can walk on the floor at the Grizzly game.
I want EP and chicken and dog. She wanna receive under the heart. I'm with Lil P and I'm motherfucking pot. I was like Cheeky, we say squad. Nigga there. Ayy, Memphis nigga everywhere I go. Get 100 bread a piece when I'm in the stove. Parkway Village, I'm a native. Still had a duck posted up in the Dover. Young nigga wanna be like Craig Pettis, bro wanna be G-Train. Afghanistan top tier, tell Biden send us to Ukraine. Drake made sure we drive global. Let me tell you about Poplar. We'll stop and deals go for a couple bucks, she'll take it so. East Memphis, that's in that league. North Memphis, that's got it. South Memphis, long live flipper. West Memphis, that ain't Memphis. On EP, eating chicken at Dodge before a nigga went vegan. Might get his 6P from Crumpets. All done left, that's the best jack. If she from Memphis with a button on, she give more head than a lace front. Me go my partner from back in the day, but I heard he hit him a lace blunt. Tell white folks he my nigga. Hey Max Snoop, I got a beer for you. From a city where you win it, they don't even really wanna even cheer for you. Deep down they be hating on you, but too quick to say I love you. In Memphis it's a red flag if she ain't blood and she say brother. Everybody gotta switch in this bitch. Game be beefing with clicks. Tell DJ yo where the dream ball at, I'm tryna stomp some shit. 2016 at the Delta Fair in the corn maze, you could die there. Long live J Money Truly, when he died whole city had tears. Memphis nigga everywhere I go, I don't care if it was Idaho. Before Ja, it was Mike Conley. Before Jaren, it was Zebo. In the lead don't get his credit, but I'm really hometown hero. Might use a key to the city just to lock my back door. Memphis nigga everywhere I go. Memphis nigga everywhere I go. Oh, Memphis nigga everywhere I go. Oh, Memphis nigga everywhere I go. Oh, Memphis nigga everywhere I go. Memphis nigga everywhere I go. Oh, Memphis nigga everywhere. Memphis nigga everywhere I go.
Good morning, people. Good morning. I see they not live this morning yet over here on Fox. Last thing was yesterday. Closing arguments began. Maybe they gave them a day off. I don't know. Or they having a late start. But let's get it on with day 6. This was what they did Saturday.
If you would state and spell your name for the record, please.
My name's Don Stewart Cameron. D-O-N.
If to show some good stuff that we ain't see last night, I'll pull it up.
S-T-A-R-T-C-A-M-E-R-O-N.
And Mr. Cameron, would you tell the jury briefly your history in law enforcement?
I started with the Berkeley, California Police Department in 1966. I stayed with Berkeley until
We got these old ass officers.
1972. I transferred to the Bay Area Rapid Transit District, San Francisco Bay Area Rapid Transit District Police Department. I worked there from 72 until 81. Became a full-time instructor for police officers and other enforcement personnel at that time. I had been teaching since 1968. I decided to do it full-time. I stayed in that capacity for 52 years until I retired in 2020.
And where do you work now, Mr. Cameron?
I work for myself through Cameron Consulting.
And what does Cameron Consulting do?
It's a consulting firm for attorneys, law enforcement agencies, private individuals.
Consulting in what areas?
I consult in the area of police training, police tactics. I write policies and procedures. I analyze equipment for policing agents to see if they're going to use that particular equipment. I write reports regarding my recommendations.
You mentioned you write training policies. For whom?
For various police agencies in California mostly.
I'm sorry.
In California mostly.
Are you familiar with the acronym POST?
That's right.
Tell the jury what POST is.
POST is a Commission for Peace Officer Standards and Training.
And what is its role in law enforcement?
POST basically sets standards, it regulates policing agencies, it makes training recommendations, it supplies instructors, it supplies materials regarding police practices.
And to whom does it provide this?
To policing agencies.
Have you had a role with POST?
Yes, sir, I am.
And if you would describe that role?
I'm considered a subject matter expert for POST in the areas of training, weapons defense, use of impact weapons, handling persons with disability, crowd control. So POST will bring together a group of subject matter experts and will either create new policies, we'll review current policies and make sure that they're up to date, or we'll check off a policy and say, yes, everything is correct in this policy. And then it goes to the Attorney General's office. If you have the Attorney General approve basically what we've written or what we've said is all right.
And is POST a national organization?
It's a national organization that all policing agencies have some type of POST regulatory commission. They're not all Gold Post, but most that I'm familiar with are Gold Post, or commissions on peace officer standards and training.
Are you familiar with Tennessee's POST Commission?
Yes, sir, I am.
And how did you become familiar with that?
I basically read the Post Commission's policies and procedures and what they recommended to Tennessee.
Are they consistent with other POST Commission standards?
Yes, they're pretty much all the same. I'm sure there's some differences as far as local things, but most of them are the same because of federal law.
You mentioned you've been involved in training.
Yes, sir.
If you would tell the jury your involvement with training law enforcement.
I train officers in basically use of force, arrest control techniques, how to search people, how to handcuff people, how to disarm people, how to generally control people, how to take people to the ground, how to control them when they're on the ground, how to use their firearms, how to use their impact weapons. Anything basically that's physical that a law enforcement officer would do.
And for whom do you do that training?
Do it for agencies throughout California, Hawaii, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, Idaho, New Jersey, New York, Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Do you have any certificates regarding your teaching or training law enforcement?
Yes, sir. I'm a basic, intermediate, and advanced post certificate. I have a supervisor post certificate. I have a vocational teaching credential. I have a bachelor's of science degree. I'm certified by the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
I hate that they have to do all this just to say somebody's an expert.
I'm certified by
Good grief.
California Post as a instructor trainer in weapons defense, arrest control tactics, firearms, crowd control. And it's regular instructor for basically the same areas, use of impact weapons, use of firearms, arrest tactics, handling persons with disabilities.
Have you previously testified in court?
Yes, sir, I have.
And have you previously been qualified as an expert to give opinion testimony regarding police standards, police training, and the proper use of force?
Yes, sir, I have.
Have you ever been denied by a judge the ability to testify as an expert in those areas?
No, sir, not in those areas.
Have you ever been denied by a court when you asked, or when counsel asked that you be allowed to give an opinion in a specific area?
They just
Yes,
went live over
In Michigan, I was asked to give opinions about a specific agency policy, and the judge said that the policy spoke for itself, so I didn't need to testify to that.
Have you ever been denied at any other time in the area of police training, police standards, and the proper use of force?
Yes, sir, I have not.
I'm going to approach. You recognize that document?
Yes, I do.
And what is it?
It's my resume.
Have you been qualified to testify as an expert in federal courts?
Yes, sir, I have.
Have you been qualified to testify as an expert in these areas in state courts?
Yes, sir, I have.
You would list the states that you have been qualified to testify as an expert in.
Yes, I have.
What states?
Oh, California, Arizona, Nevada, Idaho.
Court quiet as hell on Saturday. Them folks look tired.
Michigan. I think those ones I can remember.
And have you been qualified to give opinion testimony in federal courts?
Yes, sir, I have.
Have you been qualified to give opinion testimony in federal court for the Western District of Tennessee
Yes, sir, I have.
and other federal courts?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this point, I'd ask that this CP be marked as the next number of exhibit. Any objection?
We have no objection. Also, have any objection
With regard to
Mr. Single's considering this next one?
so it was the 5-page resume part of the exhibit 40. And at this point, Your Honor, I would tender Mr. Cameron as an expert qualified to give opinion testimony in the areas of police training, police standards, and proper use of force. Mr. Cameron, are you familiar with the Memphis Police Department policies and procedures?
Yes, sir, I am.
How?
I reviewed their policies and procedures. They're in accordance with their post.
This the second old ass white man witness they didn't have who got a damn walking cane.
Commission, which, like I mentioned, is pretty much parallel to
Them folk done brought in the niggas who wrote the books on goddamn it excessive force.
Those commissions are regulatory commissions for policing agencies throughout the United States.
Let me go back. What have I, as Demetrius Haley's lawyer, asked you to do with respect to this case?
Examine Officer Haley's training. Look at body cam footage. Read statements. Listen to audios of statements. Formulate opinions as to whether his actions were in accordance with the policies and procedures of the Memphis Police Department, if they were in accordance with the training he received, if they met the reasonable standard of care for a police officer.
Any one of those statements?
Yes, right.
Are you familiar with Demetrius Haley's training to become a Memphis police officer?
Yes, I am.
How?
I went through his entire training file. I read most of the outlines of the training programs he went to. I watched a training video of pepper spray training that he went through.
Your Honor, at this point, I am going to play A clip from a video that has been shared with the staff.
All right, they finna go to this damn training video. That's one thing I didn't show y'all last night while the stuff was going on. I'm finna cross my fingers and see how this works. But if nothing else, at least I will hopefully get the training video out to y'all. Forward, 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 forward.
Are you familiar with Demetrius Haley's training to become a Memphis police officer?
You say it?
How?
I went through his entire training file. I read most of the outlines of the training programs he went to. I watched a training video of.
At this point, I am going to play a clip from a video that has been shared with the staff. Was that part of Mr. Haley's training at the Memphis Police Department?
To expose the officers to pepper spray and the effects of pepper sprays, and how it can affect them, debilitate them, and prevent them from performing normal police tasks. In this particular case, he was able to cover one eye, and shut the other eye, so the pepper spray didn't go directly into his eyes. It more or less dropped down. After he was sprayed, he was given specific directions of things to do. Whereas in a real environment, there'd be nobody telling you what to do. And you'd have both eyes affected as opposed to just one eye. And basically, that's the training that police officers go through. The type of training that they do is usually just the one eye. It's never the two eyes that I know.
Standard post-approved training.
Yes, sir.
In preparing to form an opinion, I may have asked this, but I'm not sure. Tell the jury everything that you reviewed in order to form your opinion.
I reviewed state discovery. I reviewed body cam videos. I read statements. I listened to audios of statements. I reviewed the training records of Officer Haley. I reviewed the force continuum for Memphis Police Department. I reviewed the post standard. That's even
You any sworn testimony.
Mark.
To the witness as Exhibit 15 is the department. Is that part of what you reviewed to form your opinion?
Yes, sir, yes.
What you set that aside. That's in case you need to refer to it as I ask questions. What type of traffic stop was this, Mr. Cameron?
It was a high risk stop.
Why was it high risk?
Mr. Nichols failed to yield to the officer's light. Was traveling at a high rate of speed. He changed lanes without signaling. He ran through a red light, and basically he didn't stop, and then all of a sudden he stopped. And that's unusual when you're in a pursuit of someone, and that's a red flag. Why did all of a sudden the person decide to stop as opposed to continue to run?
When making a high-risk traffic stop, what is an officer's proper law enforcement objective?
To contact the violator, to control the violator, get the individual handcuffed, searched, and taken into custody.
Going to play a portion of Officer Hill's body-worn camera, and then ask you some questions.
They done played these body cams and dash cams videos so much.
Young male, black, slim build, blue jeans, and hoodies.
Mr. Cameron, would you describe Haley's kind of video? It was Enfield's body-worn camera played from the beginning. Would you describe, first of all, did you see Demetrius Haley in that clip?
Yes, sir, I did.
Would you describe his conduct in that clip and his use of force in relationship to the Memphis Police Department's use of force continuum?
Certainly. When he first contacted Mr. Nichols, he was using verbal persuasion, or what's referred to sometimes as verbal judo. He used harsh language, which isn't prohibited. And usually if you're dealing with a situation where someone is a harsh individual, in other words, they've already fled from the officers, kind of emphasize things by sometimes using profanity. You want hands on, which would be classified basically as soft hand techniques. Pulled him out of the vehicle, placed him in the A-frame of the vehicle, which is trained to do that. He attempted to use control techniques to handcuff and subsequently search Mr. Nichols, but Mr. Nichols turned on him. At that point, they took him to the ground. They were still using controlling techniques to get him handcuffed. Mr. Nichols was not going for being handcuffed. Sometime in the process, Officer Haley used his pepper spray, and it appeared to have no effect on Mr. Nichols, but got into Officer Haley's eyes, I believe some of the other officers' eyes. Mr. Nichols refused to get on his stomach, though he said, I'm on my stomach, all right, I'm doing it. He wasn't doing it. He then took off and ran.
You said you went hands-on and used soft hands to get him out of the car.
Yes, sir.
Why was that?
Good morning, Candy.
Problem?
Yes, there was.
Why?
Well, number one, he failed to yield originally. The car hadn't been searched. Mr. Nichols hadn't been searched. You want to isolate him from his own vehicle, get him out of the vehicle, and get him controlled as quickly as you can.
Did anything significant occur that caused the officers to take Mr. Nichols to the ground?
Yes, sir, it did.
What was that?
Officer Martin said, paraphrase something to the effect of, he's got a hold of my gun, or he's got my gun. And at that point, all bets are off. I mean, you take him to the ground as quickly as you can, and you try and control him as quickly as you can. Because you don't know whether he was trying to take the officer's gun, or if he has a gun of his own, because again, he hasn't been searched.
How do you know Martin said something along the lines of let go my gun or he's touched my gun?
The statement that I read, in testimony I read, Officer Handhill said that he heard it, and I believe Officer Martin said that he said it.
Haley used verbal judo at that stop.
Yes, sir.
What is verbal judo?
That's a method of attempting to solicit someone's cooperation verbally. So if you're not doing what I ask you to do, and for example, if I say, will you step over to the curb, and the person refuses to do that, I'll say, well, sir, is there anything I can say or do to have you step over to the curb? So I'm trying to basically negotiate with you. But if that works, that's fine. But if it doesn't work, then you have to escalate. And again, sometimes when you escalate to have someone do something, under certain circumstances, you'll use harsh language.
Profanity.
Profanity.
Vulgarity.
Yes, sir.
Verbal judo, soft hands.
Yes, sir.
Why was that appropriate?
Well, again, Mr. Nichols wasn't getting out of the car when Officer Haley reached in to order from the car. He pulled away from him. And at that point, you go hands on, get them out of the car, get them into a position where you can immediately search them and handcuff them, or handcuff them and search them. It's all appropriate.
And then the pepper spray, the OC spray.
Yes, sir.
Why was that appropriate?
Well, actually, on the force continuum, pepper spray goes before hard hand techniques and sometimes soft hand techniques. So it was according to their training. It was also because the object is to get them controlled, to get them handcuffed. Obviously, the pepper spray didn't work on Mr. Nichols in this case, but it did work on the other officers.
While Mr. Nichols was on the ground, there were commands given. Did Mr. Nichols react to the commands?
He said he was doing what they asked him to do, get on his stomach, but in fact, he was on his side, would not get on his stomach. And he kept saying, I'm on my stomach, I'm on my stomach. He wasn't on his stomach. He was up on his side, which means, again, he hadn't been searched. He can access a weapon along his waistband. And in front of the waistband, where firearms are most often carried by suspects. Consequently, he had access to that. He had the ability to use his hands to strike at the officers. So the officers were telling him to do something or ordering him to do something, and he was saying he was doing it, but he wasn't. So he wasn't following the commands.
They, in respect to the commands. Who was giving commands?
I believe all the ideal? It's not necessarily ideal. What you'd like to do is have one officer give commands, but that's in a different circumstance. If I'm telling somebody to do something and I'm the officer that's going to handcuff the person, then I'll simply tell them to do it. In this situation where you have a fighting, resisting suspect, you wouldn't want other officers giving commands. In other words, I would want to say, lay on your stomach, and another officer say, no, lay on your back, and somebody else say, put your hands over your head, and somebody else say, put your hands behind your back. But in this case, all three officers were saying exactly the same thing. Get on your stomach, give up your hands. Stop resisting. Get on your stomach, give up your hands. So if different officers were giving different commands, it could confuse the suspect, and that could be why he wasn't doing it. But in this case, all the officers were giving almost exactly the same command.
In your opinion, was Haley's use of force and conduct consistent with his training?
Yes, sir.
Consistent with Memphis Police Department policy and procedure?
Yes, sir, it was.
Going to continue playing Kent Hill's body cam, picking up at 20:26:47 for roughly 8 minutes.
Step down on rocks. We last time. What's that? Yes. Hang on. Ready? That's just straight. One of the props in the Baxter. All right, girls, look funny. Hang on. Where's your water? Okay, I got you. Negative 29:38. Where are my damn glasses? Huh? That again? Yeah. Fight me. Negative, we saw him right down Ross. For the year. Yeah. What's up? Right eye. All right, ready? What? Right eye. That way. Okay, I gotta find my glasses and get the damn taser. Now, Luke. thin male black, blue jeans, and a plaid jacket. Can you open your eyes? Martin and all them over there taking my eyes on my eyebrow. Oh, they stop us at. Oh, they stop us at State Farm.
In this clip, which ends at 20:34:44, what significant, to your opinion, about Haley's actions has occurred?
He's still debilitated.
Good morning, Lynn.
And obviously, he's trying to flush his eyes out with water. He's trying to hold his eye open so the air can get in there. And it's basically debilitated him. He took his vest off because it's easier. It doesn't hit you much from moving, so it's easier for him to be able to tip his head back and to use his hands and hold his eye open and have the other officer flush it out. And at one point, he puts his vest back on and responds because he hears a call coming over the radio at Bear Creek and Castle. That the officers basically something to the effect that the suspect still resisted, we're still fighting, and we need more officers. And that's one of the first things you're trained as a police officer is if another officer calls for help or calls for additional units, that if at all possible, you respond as quickly as you can.
Is that reaction good policing?
Responding, yes, sir.
Trained?
Yes, sir.
Consistent with NPD policy?
Yes, sir, it is.
What, based on your review, what knowledge did Haley have when he arrived at Castlegate and Bear Creek?
Well, number one, he knew about the interaction they had on the traffic stop. That Mr. Nichols was resisting, didn't want to be handcuffed. He hadn't been searched. He ran from the officers. The pepper spray didn't appear to have any effect on him. He now knew from the radio transmission that Mr. Nichols had been contacted by other officers, that the other officers were having a difficult time taking him into custody, that they were calling for other officers. And again, by his training and the Memphis policies, he needed to respond to that location.
You mentioned earlier when Martin said, "Let go of my gun," you said all bets are off.
Right.
Tell the jury what you meant by all bets are off.
In other words, when somebody goes for an officer's gun, it becomes a deadly force situation. It's a deadly force situation, obviously, for the officers. It's a deadly force situation where the officers may have to use it if the suspect gets the officer's gun and or if the suspect has his own gun. So it changes all bets. It's not routine. It's not going by the use of force continuum to the soft hands, to the hard hands, to the pepper spray. It immediately jumps to a deadly force situation.
In your review of this entire incident, was deadly force ever used by Demetrius Haley?
No, sir, it's not.
I'm gonna pass a document to. Do you recognize that, Mr. Cameron?
Yes, sir, I do.
And what is that?
It's Mr. Nichols' left arm with one handcuff on it, and an officer attempting to get that hand under control, particularly because the handcuff is on the wrist, and the handcuff on the wrist basically becomes a weapon. If the individual is able to break free from the officer's grip, he can swing that very effectively and severely injure an officer.
Is that a picture you recognize as one of the scenes of the body-worn cameras you reviewed?
Yes, sir, it is.
That's the deputy marked to the next number of exhibit. No objection.
Screenshot of Nichols' wrist, exhibit 41.
For the record, that is a screenshot from Officer Mills's body-worn camera, which has been shown, will be admitted into evidence. The timestamp is 2034. I believe it's 55 on the print. The seconds I cut off. Based upon your review, Mr. Cameron, in relationship to Haley's arrival at Castlegate and Bear Creek, when was that handcuff put on the left wrist?
I believe it was put on the left wrist about a minute before Officer Haley arrived, if I'm not mistaken.
Whether it was a minute or not, before, during, or after Haley's arrival?
Before his arrival.
And did the existence of the handcuff on, we now know to be Mr. Nichols' left wrist, have any impact on your opinion of Haley's conduct at Castlegate and Bear Creek?
Yes, certainly. Mr. Nichols continuing to resist. Officer Haley can see that when he arrives on the scene, that the one wrist is handcuffed, but the other hand isn't handcuffed. And at that point, Mr. Nichols has his arm basically tucked underneath his body or locked into his body position. And it could be that he's simply resisting not being handcuffed or being handcuffed, but it's also consistent with someone reaching for the waistband. And like I mentioned before, Mr. Nichols had not been searched at that time, so they don't know whether he has a worst case scenario gun, less case scenario a knife in the waistband. So though you could say, yeah, he's resisting because he doesn't want to get handcuffed, but could he be not wanting to get handcuffed, and could he be wanting to access a weapon? And that's what an officer has to think.
I'm going to play a brief clip from the Scott Cop video. Start over. This is a clip from the, I think it's officially titled 6727 Castlegate. This clip begins at 20:36:02. And that clip ends at 20:36:30. Mr. Cameron, was that clip a portion of the Skycop video that you reviewed in connection with your work at this guys?
Yes, sir, it is.
And in that clip, did you see Mr. Haley arrive?
Yes, sir, I did.
Would you describe his conduct in that clip to the jury?
Oh, he arrives at the scene. You can see that Mr. Nichols is not controlled. There's a handcuff on one wrist. Like I mentioned before, the arm is tucked under the body. Officer Haley comes up, makes a quick assessment of what's occurring. He takes the time to look to see where he's going to apply the kick. He applies the kick to the upper arm muscle area, which they're trained to do because basically it causes the arm to relax or come up behind the back, or where the officers want the arm to be, which is in a handcuffing position. So he takes the time basically to aim and to kick the area that he wants to kick. And that's in association with the training he received at the Memphis Police Department. Use a hard hand technique and use it to an area that will have the individual relax that area or react to the kick and be able to be handcuffed.
Trained technique,
Yes, sir.
hard hands technique according to the Memphis Police Department policy and procedure,
Yes, sir.
authorized.
Yes, sir.
On that clip, how many kicks did we see?
From Officer Haley, just one.
How many kicks in total? How
Two.
many? Okay. And which one was Haley's?
Haley's was the first.
What happened after the kick?
Mr. Nichols was able to be handcuffed
How quickly?
almost immediately.
And I'm going to play this clip one more time and stop it at Mr. Haley's kick so that we can get the timestamp into the record. Tell me if I've stopped it at the correct time. Did Mr. Haley just kick?
Yes, sir, he did.
And the timestamp is 20:36:19.
Yes, sir.
Going to play one more brief clip. Start over and put the timestamp on. This is from Officer Blake's body worn cam, which has been played. This is a clip which begins at 20:36:37. And it ends at 20:36:47. Mr. Cameron, is that a clip from some of the video you reviewed in connection with coming up with your opinion?
Yes, sir, it is.
And what is significant in that clip?
Officer Haley's following his training and his policy and procedures from the Memphis Police Department, and that he's calling for medical aid or an ambulance, giving the brief information that he had that the individual had been pepper sprayed, the individual had been tasered.
Hi, John. Is there-
These, of course, people yesterday, so this will be my first time. Okay.
All right,
We just met each other for a second out there.
just a second. We did.
I think maybe we have the same mark.
Yes, we
I
did.
think we get our haircut the same way.
Yes.
I ain't gonna ask questions about the case, but let me start more generally. Okay. With your role here. Okay.
Right.
You've been in law enforcement for many years,
Yes, sir, I was.
with extensive training, and you've lectured, some of which has been evidence before the jury, but other which has not been evidence before the jury. Is that right?
I would assume so.
And you've been asked to come here and render your sort of opinion on some things.
Yes,
right? You're not here though to tell us what the law is, correct?
Oh, no, not at all.
The jury gets their law from somewhere else, correct?
Yes, they do.
And you're not here to tell the jury what the facts are either, are you?
No.
The jury has to make their own determination on the facts, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're not here to tell the jury that they must accept your opinion. Right?
Oh, no, not at all.
They're free to accept it or to reject it or somewhere in between or whatever it is.
Yes, sir, they are.
You, like the other use of force experts yesterday, are just here to offer your opinion.
Yes, sir.
Based on some evidence that we've seen, some haven't, inconsistent with your training and your experience.
Yes, sir.
And for preparing for this, you reviewed a lot of materials, videos, and things like that with regard to this case.
Got a lot of material.
Right? Would you agree with me that there's limitations to your opinions?
I missed that.
Yeah, well, let me rephrase. Would you agree that there are limitations to your opinions?
Well, I have the opinion. I guess there's limitations.
For instance, you weren't there.
Oh, I wasn't there,
Correct,
no, sir.
right? So you didn't witness these things. For examples of what I'm talking about, you have to base your opinion on stuff that you have read. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Stuff that you don't know if it's true or not.
That's correct.
So let's take just for instance, and let me just say, these right here, not trick questions. These defendants are not even charged with anything having to do with the traffic stop.
All right.
Okay? So this is more about the basics of your opinions right now.
All right.
Okay. So for instance, when you testified that Tyree had grabbed or attempted to grab or put his hand on Officer Martin's, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you see that?
Oh, no, sir.
In fact, you're basing that opinion on something that Martin said, correct?
Yes, sir. And handheld. And handheld as well.
Yeah, you're basing your opinion on something that Martin and Hill said.
Yes, sir.
But you don't know if that's true or not.
No, I don't.
In fact, are you aware that he made a later comment to him, Bill, that caused him Bill to have questions if that was true at all?
All right.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So when you say, if we take Martin's word for it in the video,
Correct.
but we have reason not to take his word for it.
So I guess so, yeah.
And when you say it's a little I'm not interested in, but that Tyree was driving recklessly.
Yes, sir.
Do you mean that Officer Martin reported that Tyree was speeding?
Yes, sir.
Do you mean that Officer Martin and Officer Hemphill reported that he had changed lanes once or twice without signaling?
Yes, sir.
Do you also mean that he was driving in opposite lanes of traffic and all that stuff that Officer Martin made up later?
Well, it's part of the equation of what the officer said.
So you're basing that also on Martin's statement that he was driving?
Good morning, Leah.
Yes, sir.
Objection, Judge, there's no testimony about Martin making stuff up later. Asking things outside the record.
There's body cam footage of Officer Martin speaking these things after the fact, making statements.
Maybe objective in a clearer fashion. The first question you asked indicated that he made a statement and then later recanted that statement or said that it was untrue. Nowhere on the body worn camera did Martin say, hey, I said earlier such and such, that was untrue. So it assumes that's not evidence.
There hasn't been any proof that the statements were false or that he was acknowledging that they were false. Also saying they objected.
Were you aware that Officer Hemphill did not see Tyree Nichols go into oncoming traffic or anything like that?
Am I aware of that?
Yeah.
No, sir.
So you were not aware of his testimony with regard to that?
I'm sorry.
You're not aware of his testimony with regard to that?
No, sir.
That would be another example of limitations on your testimony, correct?
Yes, sir.
I want to play for you what we're here for, the poll camera footage. Castle Gate. We could play for the record sync with Dean's body. You pay attention here. You saw the guy. Did you see that kick?
I did.
Would you characterize that as excessive?
It doesn't seem to be used to accomplish a particular goal,
Excuse me?
so it's unnecessary.
It's unnecessary.
Right.
Here would be a kick to the head or the neck.
Right.
A kick like that to the head or the neck. My word was excessive. Yours was unnecessary. Is that right?
Right.
Okay, so you agree that was unnecessary force?
It appears to be, yes, sir.
Would you agree that any officers that would have seen that kick would have a duty to intervene if they could?
If they saw the kick, they could stop it, yes, sir.
If they saw the kick, they'd have a duty to intervene, correct?
Yes, sir.
Continue, please.
Get your hand! Give me your hand, turn around! Lay flat! Lay flat!
Did you see that kick?
I did.
Would you agree that was excessive?
Excessive and necessary, yes, sir.
Excessive, no, sir. Would you agree that any officers that saw that kick would have a duty to intervene?
Yes, sir, they should.
And how would you describe Tyree Nichols and what he's doing while he's being kicked there?
It appears he's reacting to being kicked.
He's what?
He's reacting to being kicked.
Reacting to being kicked. And that's natural, right?
Yes, sir.
Would you describe that as resisting?
Well, you're seeing the kick and you're seeing, hearing his reaction to it, but you don't know really, I mean, I can't see really what he's doing with his hands, whether he's trying to get his hands away from the officers or he's struggling not to be handcuffed. So
You see the first kick and he sort of collapses a little bit to the ground, right?
it appears to.
Would you consider that resisting?
Pardon me?
Would you consider that resisting?
Falling to the ground?
Correct.
No, it's part of the reaction to,
To being kicked?
yes.
Correct. Second kick, did you see him resisting?
Well, again, he's still not handcuffed, but you can't really see what he's doing because the officers are in the way.
Yeah, and this is what I'm getting at. I mean, we've agreed the first kick is unnecessary and excessive, correct?
Yes, sir.
We've agreed that the first kick is unnecessary, and if he allowed at that point to try to survive,
To prevent from being kicked, yes, sir.
yeah, I mean, don't you train your officers that? I know you didn't train those officers. I'm not
That's
saying-
right, I did not.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say you train those officers. But don't you train your officers that one of the terrible dangers of using excessive force like this is poor man has a right to defend himself and to try to survive, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Continue to play.
Lay flat!
You stop it. Here, what's Tyree Nichols doing?
Well, again, it's difficult to see. You can hear that he's reacting in, I don't know whether it's in pain or from being frightened. Can't see whether he's handcuffed. Obviously, not trying to handcuff.
Natural and expected, right?
Sure.
To us watching the video now, or to the fact that it's very natural.
Yes, sir.
And it would be expected by anybody watching this video.
I would think so, yeah.
You would think so.
Sure.
Or anybody that was there and saw those two kids.
Right.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
At this point, when he's laying on the ground, do you know whether or not he has suffered a traumatic brain injury?
I have no idea.
But you do know about use of force when it concerns people with disabilities, right?
Yes, sir.
And you do know that people with traumatic brain injuries may have problems responding to commands, don't you?
And then next,
Continue to play. Up here. What do we see Tyree Nichols do here?
he appears to roll to a seated position.
He appears to now be in some sort of seated position, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Could you tell how he got there?
I don't know what the officers put him there. He put himself there.
Just in seated position himself, or if he's been pulled in seated position, correct?
Correct.
And would you agree with me at this point in the video is a fair assessment that Mr. Nichols could just be trying to survive, right?
He could be, yes, sir.
Given the unnecessary and excessive force.
All right.
And this is one of the few times I've had to say, good job, prosecutor, because he been bullshitting on the other experts. He grilling his old white ass. Good job.
Right.
Stay on the ground and be kicked how many more times?
I'll stay on the ground and be here.
Speculation. And he's testifying way beyond the scope of what this particular expert has studied at this time. He's showing premise testimony based off things that the expert has already said. I can't really see, I can't tell, etc. And he's trying to create a narrative for this expert. That's well beyond cross-examination. The cause for speculation. What is it that Thunder, as an expert, allow the state to ask a question based off of his opinion and expertise?
You don't know how many more times he may be kicked in the head here.
No, I don't.
He's in a damned if you do or damned if you don't situation, isn't he?
Who's that?
Mr. Nichols.
I don't follow the question.
If he complies, if he's able to, we don't know how many more times he's going to be kicked in the head.
We have no idea.
If he doesn't comply, more and more force is going to be used upon him. He is damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't.
Your Honor, I would object to the testifying of Mr. Haggard and ask that question straight.
I'll just say that objection. As far as the question, we'll strike that question.
You see the danger of him complying, don't you?
Normally, when someone complies, then the officers stop using arrest tactics.
Exactly. But Officer Martin doesn't.
He uses baton, yes, sir.
Officer Mills uses the
Oh, I'm sorry.
Officer Martin is the one that kicks him.
Oh, okay.
So this isn't normal, is it?
To continually kick someone, no, sir.
We'll keep it going. Officer Mills testified that those strikes.
I don't remember the anger part. I don't remember his exact statement now.
Are your officers trained to react out of anger?
No, sir. I mean, you may be angry, but you don't react to it.
Are they trained to inflict punishment?
No, sir, not at all.
If those strikes were out of anger and to inflict punishment, were they unnecessary and excessive?
Yes, sir, they were.
We've seen at this point 2 kicks, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Seen 3 baton strikes, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Unnecessary and excessive, correct?
Yes, sir.
Anybody out there that saw those things would have a duty to intervene. They'd be trained, they're trained to intervene, correct?
Right, if they are able to do it.
Stop there. You see that?
Yes, sir.
You see Officer Smith, Officer Martin deliver a, you've heard it described as a haymaker. On
Yes,
Mr. Nichols' head.
Yes, sir.
Did you see that?
I did.
Did you see the other officers? Did you see the other officers?
The other officers do what?
Did you see the other officers in the video? Could
Yes.
you see the other officers?
Oh, I could see the other officers, yes, sir.
One in one arm and one in another arm.
Right, sir.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
And then you can also see Mills off a few feet. Is that correct?
Pardon me?
You can also see the other officer Mills off a few feet.
Yes, sir.
4 officers in total.
Yes, sir.
Officer Bean, Officer Smith, each in an arm, and Officer Martin.
Now, don't you come up here messing with the screen shit now. It's been acting all right. It better not start acting up when you get up here.
It doesn't appear to be if he was under control. He's not handcuffed. He is being held by the other one.
Not unnecessary. I may have misheard you.
Oh, I said that
They ain't mess up, so
we have him under
I
control.
don't
so
know.
that way we don't need for them to be punched.
I misheard you. I wasn't. So it was unnecessary.
Pardon me?
It was unnecessary
Yes, wasn't needed at that time.
and excessive.
Yes, sir.
And a strike like that to the head could be deadly, correct?
I suppose it could.
So this would be the 3rd instance of possible deadly force on Mr. Nichols. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What does Mr. Nichols appear to be doing as he's getting hit?
His body's reacting to being hit.
His body's reaction to being hit. Have we seen in this video Mr. Nichols throw any punch?
No, sir.
Have we seen Mr. Nichols throw any kick?
No, sir.
Well, we've seen Mr. Nichols sustain, at this point, 3 blows that are unnecessary, excessive, and could be deadly. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Continue. Right there. Did you see that?
Yes, sir, he did.
Another strike to the head.
Yes, sir.
Did you say that was unnecessary?
I don't think it was needed. Yes.
And have a duty to intervene, correct?
Yes, sir, he would.
And what's Mr. Nichols' body doing when this is happening?
He's reacting to the punches.
Reacting to being punched.
Yes.
Next. You stop there. What's Mr. Nichols doing?
I missed that. Could we play it back?
Just give back 10 seconds or 5 seconds, whatever. We went out too far, wasn't it? What's Mr. Nichols doing at this point?
Looks like he's pulling away or trying to walk away.
You've seen his body flailing around, reacting, correct?
Yes, sir. It appears to be. Yes, sir. It may not be.
It may not be, but it may be. He may be trying to walk away, or this could be an unintentional movement.
Yes, sir.
Shouldn't he try to get away at this point?
Well, it doesn't appear to be too prudent for him to try and get away from the officers, but I suppose he could try.
Doesn't appear too prudent for him to stay either, does it?
No.
Can you go for another one, too? Did you see those 2 shots to the head?
Yes, sir, I did.
Unnecessary,
Yes, sir.
excessive?
Yes, sir.
We've actually watched 5 of them now. Is that right?
I think that was a count.
And any officer out there that saw it would have a duty to intervene if it could. Is that right?
I would think so. Yes, sir.
Any officer out there that saw it could say stop, couldn't they? Have you heard anybody say stop?
No.
And at this point, it's 4 officers and 1 Tyree Nichols. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And we have seen 2 kicks, unnecessary and excessive, 3 baton strikes, unnecessary and excessive, and 5 haymakers to the head, unnecessary and excessive. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I'd agree.
Continue playing. Did you hear that? Man's ass.
Hey, Gloria.
There's something to that effect, yes, sir.
He says that when he jumps out of his car, doesn't he?
I believe he was just coming out of the car, yes, sir.
Just coming out of the car. Beat that man. Some people say beat that man's ass. Do you have which in particular? Do you know which one it is?
I'm sorry, no?
I'm just going to say beat that man.
All right.
Beat that man.
All right.
Right. Police officers talk harsh, correct?
They do.
You've been around more than me. I've been around plenty.
Yes, sir, they do.
I don't have a problem.
All right. Well,
Be a way of saying beat that man.
what he said, but again, I could say beat that man to get him into custody.
But he didn't. He's getting out of his car. He's more than 15, 20 feet away from that man who's surrounded by 4 police officers and is on his stomach, right?
Yes, sir.
And from where he's literally getting out of his car, he hasn't assessed the scene, has he?
No, he only knows what he's heard.
He's just going to jump out of the car and yell directions to other officers, beat that man.
All right, to get him into custody, yes, sir.
Or beat that man so that y'all can get him in custody.
Right.
So that's correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And that's what we need to believe that his kick is not unnecessary, correct?
Whose kick are you talking about?
Haley's.
Haley used the kick to get the arm behind the back.
Well, that's your opinion.
Yes, sir.
We're free to accept it or not.
Sure.
Okay. But to believe he used that kick to get his arm behind his back, we have to believe that beat that man means beat that man until he's in custody.
To get him in custody, yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's what you believe.
Yes, sir, I did.
You do not believe that Mr. Haley is reacting out of anger,
No, I believe he was doing something he was trained to do.
which is get out of the car and yell, beat that man?
Kick Mr. Nichols in the upper tricep area, have his arm go behind his back for cuffing.
Let's watch the kick. Let's watch it.
Did they call an objection? We got Sal up and stuff. My iCore room's terrible. Oh, they went to break on us. Hold on, let me try to get some stoppage here. I think they're gonna come back in abruptly. No. Is this nigga swishing water around in his mouth?
Back on the video to where Mr. Haley jumps out the car. watch the kick. Okay?
All right.
Play a little bit more. All right. We agree that we see Officer Haley kick. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And we see that he kicks Mr. Nichols. Right?
Yes,
We
sir.
see that he kicks Mr. Nichols. I'm sorry.
Yes.
We agree that we see him kick Mr. Nichols.
Yes.
While Mr. Nichols is on the ground.
Yep.
2 kicks to the head, 3 baton strikes, 5 haymakers that we all agree are unnecessary and excessive, correct?
Yes, sir.
After Mr. Haley kicks him, we then see Mr. Haley bend down to help handcuff Mr. Nichols, correct?
It appears to be, yes, sir.
Good. You saw that? He kicks him and then just attempts to handcuff Mr. Nichols.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't do anything to attempt to assist after his kick.
No, sir.
In fact, after his kick, when he just walks away, we have somebody else walk up, don't we?
Do that one again.
We have somebody else walk up after Mr. Haley sort of walks away.
Yes, sir.
And that's Mr. Martin.
Yes.
And then we see another kick to Mr. Nichols, right?
Right.
And at this point, we've seen 2 kicks to the head, 3 baton strikes, 5 haymakers, Haley's kick, and now this final kick by Mr. Martin. Did you say Mr. Martin's final kick was unnecessary and excessive?
Oh, I don't think it was necessary at all. It was excessive.
Yeah, unnecessary and excessive.
Yes, sir, I agree.
And everybody out there that would have seen that has a duty to intervene, correct?
Yes, sir.
And this entire time, we've heard no stop, no, whoa, we got this, nothing.
Nope.
From anybody. These officers have a duty to inform medical personnel with regard to helpful information they may know that may help them treat the patient.
I would agree with that.
When you agree helpful medical information may be here, he took some shots to the head.
Can you do that one again?
Would it be helpful for medical personnel to know that he took some head shots?
Yes, it would.
They could have even made up a story like he fell and hit his head or something, couldn't they?
I guess they could.
I mean, that would at least tell medical personnel that he took a headshot, right?
Yes.
And you've reviewed the body cams, and you've reviewed the videos. You've never heard a single officer out there on the scene tell medical personnel one time that he took a shot to his head, have you?
I mean, I saw it.
Not a single time.
No, sir.
When you train officers, you would train to the head.
Everything that the officer knew, yes.
You would train them to intervene when they see something like that.
Yes, sir.
With regard to Haley's kicking, you may never agree. Okay?
All right.
But you find that to be necessary, correct?
I find it to be necessary, yes, sir.
And you make out of his statement, beat that man, a statement that could be read as,
Yes, sir.
we may agree on a barber,
Yes, sir.
we may not agree on that.
Correct.
Okay? And you agree with me if we go back to the beginning, this jury is free to agree with you or disagree with you.
Certainly.
Sir. Unfortunately, you're one of the last witnesses. It's unfortunate for you, okay? Because there's a couple videos that haven't been played into F yet,
All right.
videos that you reviewed.
All right.
Okay? So I think I'm done with really the substance of my examination of you,
All right.
but we are going to play a couple videos
Sure.
so you can attend them, okay?
Sure.
Before we get into that, I have the next group.
We're going to play for you the body worn camera of Officer Haley. It is one of the videos you reviewed.
verbal answer. You reviewed this, correct?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
We can go ahead and stop it here. We're not going to do much starting. Okay.
Right.
But is it fair to say that Officer Haley's body cam footage starts after the incident has occurred?
Yes, sir.
And by the, I need to be more clear, by the incident, I mean the incident where Mr. Nichols, what we just watched.
Yes, sir.
Like Castlegate, not the traffic stop.
Yes, sir.
With the palms running down. He always on bad. We lit him up, he didn't want to stop. We did what we did. Come on. Stop. I'm talking about gonna take folks out. All kind of traffic and everything. I got some film. 38. The I need to come out of you or please send this like over question. Fuck, man. I'm on the car. Is it on the car, bro? Yeah, I got that right now. Liz, you good? Huh? Come here. You have to walk your eyes right. A little bit slippery right there. Let me go to walk for that now. Okay. Damn. That might hide the kite, man. Here, I go see Joey. I sprayed him. I snatched him off of that tonight. Yeah, yeah. Bro, my eyes on fire right now. My shit on fire.
Could you tell at 2040, it's 2040, 19, so just a few seconds before, could you tell what we sort of saw flash up?
No, sir.
Did you see the car?
Oh, I saw Mr. Nichols in the car, yes, sir.
Did you see the side of the cellular phone pointed at him?
Pardon me?
Did you see a cellular phone, very small portion of it pointed at Mr. Nichols?
Yes, sir, I did.
You're aware that Officer Haley took a picture of Mr. Nichols right there? And this is leaning up against the car?
Yes, sir.
You're aware that he sent those pictures to several different people?
I believe he did, yes, sir.
Is that something you train your officers to do?
No, sir.
Is that something you train your officers to do?
Take pictures of the suspect, yes, sir.
Take pictures of the suspect after he's beaten up, laying in the car, and send it to a bunch of people.
I missed the last part.
Take pictures of the person who has been beat by a bunch of people.
I wouldn't train him to send him pictures of the person to document the injuries. I believe that's what.
Your Honor, it's not my witness, but that calls for speculation, which may affect my client. It calls for speculation on this witness.
He's been already considered as an expert in this matter. If he has an opinion as to it, you can render that opinion. If he doesn't, you can choose not.
Question again, I'm sorry.
Do you believe this was documented injuries?
That's what Officer Haley said.
You believe Officer Haley took a picture to document injuries?
That's what he said, sir.
Do you know the people he sent it to?
No, I don't.
You read the reports, didn't you?
Yes. I don't know the people.
They include girlfriends, right?
I believe one owns a girlfriend.
At least one, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. not to investigators. Correct?
Correct.
To civilians. Correct?
Yes, sir.
To friends of his, correct?
I would assume they're friends.
Okay.
This is a testimony. People, several who were identified in the phone, with the initials. The Mr. Hageman's questions are going outside the record.
Just drop it down. If you want to clarify it on the
Correct?
I believe so.
People that included at least one girlfriend.
Hey, that's why I checked it, but I couldn't see no more. I couldn't see no more. Well, you said that we went to live. Yeah, that's it. I tried about it. I couldn't see them. I said I got time. I was looking at shit. Hey, you good, bro? How could you really be?
Motherfucker, shit, I had to go on that shit.
I ain't gonna fucking hide.
I can't,
We hired the kite for it. Yo, that was good. I ain't gonna say about this one. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, motherfucker. Dude, I spoke like that. Don't do that so serious. Bro, it was like, I ain't never seen him. He was a good take instruction. Boom, get out of here.
Babe, I took this, not rocket. What the fuck?
God damn, man. Hell no, this is high motherfucker. Everybody got spray. I spray, he spray, give me a tape, he jumped up to that tape, hit the leg, and took off right down the street. People, I know people with dogs. He grabbed one gun on the scene. That might go some more. I ain't that look. I just got my car with the hey, bro, you good? Motherfucker, swung. What do you mean? He reached for my gun, pushed him to the car, and he was on from there. He really had his hand on my gun. Like, that mother was on there. I don't know what that might be. I ain't strong. He's strong. He's strong. That's more dope. That's more dope. He caught strong in that. That was it. Yeah, my fire right now.
I think playing the officer saying that's more than dope. He's strong in a bitch. Kind of shows why it was a fight in a tussle, because he was strong and he wasn't going. Yeah, it finally kicked me. I'm getting the audio up 238.05. Shut up, me. All right. They was just talking on that pod anyway of the body cam footage. They asking him what you take. You strong as hell. They talking to Tyree. Who body cam on the damn ground? It ain't picking up nothing.
Hey, when that shit hit me, it was just shit.
This is literally it's a body cam pointed at the sky now. It's nothing, but they running the, I guess, audio.
It's in there.
We play yes, it's 2054-41.
All my questions is it in there or is it out there?
There it is. We did it at 2054-41. Is that also Haley's body cams, all right?
I believe it is, yes.
We would add this into evidence with your honor's permission to the master exhibit that will be released at the close of the time. And there is one more body worn camera. 43.
Okay, this body cam footage looks interesting. Let me try this screen share thing again. 248:32. All right, that's a good spot. Present. Let's see what it do. If not, y'all just ain't gonna see the body cam footage.
This body worn camera that starts at 2037-43.
Good morning, boss.
Are you bringing it back here?
Bring him down here, Hill. Bring him down here.
Yeah, bring it right now.
Shit, I need my black dogs on too. Fuck. That's one.
All that shit. Yeah, appreciate y'all, bro. Y'all see my flash out tomorrow somewhere? Fuck. There you go. I know. I see y'all seen his ass. So I fuck my leg, bro. I know I'm gonna feel this shit. Fuck. I just don't know. That motherfucker laugh. Get him up. Shit. Here goes Steve. Shit, you know what I'm working this shit? Huh? Hell no. Motherfucker. See, I had to go on that shit. I like fuck it. I lost that motherfucker again. That motherfucker hot. Bro, I hit that out so many pieces and he clean it. I was like, God damn. Oh, this makes money on phones. Hey, Bing was rocking, then I jumped in and started rocking. Motherfucker, what the fuck? Man, what the fuck? Hey, you got that face thing you do? No. You from a traffic stop. He got some in his back pocket. A wallet. I didn't know. Shit. Fuck. Oh, hold on. Ain't got nothing to unless you do it while we play running. You're racing that fuck.
I don't know if them niggas went to what do you call it, an objection or what? It just, they went silent. It's still going though. Yep, something happened with the stream. They called objecting to something that was going on. Um,
03. Would like to take a snip about the camera?
Yes, sir.
No further questions, sir.
Thank you.
I'm going to try and go in order that Mr. Hagerman was asking you questions.
Hello, Latoya.
It was a high risk.
And he asked you some questions about statements regarding the gun.
Yes, sir.
What's the significance?
Statement about the gun
Yes.
puts it, like I say, into a whole different perspective. So, suspect that is trying to take an officer's gun.
Seen at that time. Does it matter whether the gun was touched or not?
No, it doesn't.
Why not?
Because they were told it was touched or grabbed. And again, you don't question an officer and say, well, did it really happen? Are you sure that he was grabbing your gun? Maybe he was not. Maybe his hand just moved there. You don't ask those questions.
What happens if you hesitate in a situation like that?
If he gets the officer's gun, somebody gets injured or killed.
You talked about when Haley's kicked at Fair Creek and Pasadena. You talked about the hesitation.
Yes.
What's the significance of that hesitation?
He didn't just randomly run in and kick him. And he picked a spot on the upper muscle area of the arm, the tricep area. And he knew from his training that that would loosen the arm up and hopefully allow the other officer to handgun.
And did that in fact happen?
Yes, it did.
Remind this jury of the purpose of verbal judo.
Verbal judo is used to persuade an individual to get into custody using the least amount of force possible.
And how does verbal judo help that?
Well, you're trying to reason with the individual, and some people obviously can't reason with it. You're trying to reason with the individual to use a minimal amount of force to take them into custody.
Is verbal judo moving up the scale on the force continuum?
Is it moving up? No, it's the lowest level.
Mr. Hagerman had you from the beginning.
Yes, sir.
And you saw Officer Martin kick twice. We all saw Officer Martin kick twice.
Yes, sir.
Where?
Appeared to be the upper body, perhaps the head.
And we saw Mills strike 3 times with the aspeton, correct?
Yes.
And we saw Martin punch 5 times in the head, correct?
Yes, sir, we did.
Where was Haley at the time of all of those contacts?
Lee was in his vehicle responding to the call.
Based upon watching that video again today, your entire review of the file, how many, as Mr. Hagerman said, headshots did Haley see given to Mr. Nichols?
None.
Was Haley present when any of the, quote, headshots were given to Mr. Nichols?
No, he wasn't.
Based upon your training and experience, does it take more than watching a video to have a professional opinion regarding police training standards and the propriety of use of force?
No, you can't base it solely on a video.
What factors go into forming an opinion?
The information the officer had prior to their use of force, the level of resistance on the suspect's part, the necessity to get the individual in handcuffs and into custody.
I might have a moment, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any questions? Yes, sir.
Boy, god damn. These niggas, are they going on break? What's happening?
And you have zero information about what Mr. Justin Smith saw or appreciated during that interaction. Is that right?
That's true.
And just to save a little time, you really have no information regarding what any officer out there on the scene other than Emmett Martin saw, right?
That's correct.
And you are familiar with the fact that pepper spray or OC spray had been utilized by one of the officers, his name is Mills, at least 3 times during that brief arrest.
That's correct.
And you can see on the video Emmett Martin bailing out because he had OC spray. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you see Nichols bail out and is gone for over 1.5 minutes. And he's the one who shot the pepper spray. Is that right?
That's correct.
But Mr. Smith and Mr. Bean are still in a 90-degree angle trying to get Mr. Nichols in handcuffs. Is that right?
They are.
Did you see Mr. Smith or Mr. Bean take a break?
No, sir, I didn't.
Since you've been in policing for so long, what does OC stand for?
Ole encapsulated.
Say it again.
Ole encapsulated.
Right. And they have different powers, don't they? Different percentages, don't they?
Yes, they do.
And they have one that's 1.5. Is it 1.5%?
I believe so.
And then one 5%. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And the 1.5% is used by,
Civilians,
and the 5% is used by.
law enforcement officers.
Okay. So I can't go out and get 5% OC, can I?
Normally, no.
I cannot. It's illegal for me to have it if I'm not a cop, right?
Correct.
And is that in reference to how powerful that OC spray is?
Yes, sir.
And that night, you looked at the use of force reports, you looked at the different things. Mr. Mills had 5% OC spray. Is that right?
Yes.
And you're not supposed to shoot an OC shot to a suspect for longer than what? One burst?
One burst, yes.
Right. So one burst on a suspect incapacitates the normal suspect. Is that right?
Normally it does.
If OC spray does not incapacitate a suspect, what does that tell you based on your 50-some-odd years in law enforcement?
That the suspect's not susceptible to pepper spray, or the suspect may be under the influence of some narcotic.
All right. Next question. Do responding officers rely on other officers within their department collectively using only necessary force to effectuate an arrest?
Yes.
If I'm a cop, you're a cop, I really don't know you, but we're in the same precinct, and we show up at the same crime scene, is it within the industry of law enforcement that I can rely upon you, even though I don't know you, to use only necessary force to effectuate an arrest?
Yes, it is.
And the force that we saw from Emmett Martin was, I think you said what? Was it unnecessary or what?
It's unnecessary.
And is that the same as excessive?
It can be, yes.
So it's not, I just asked you, is unnecessary the same as excessive? Is it or is it not?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So if we hear unnecessary force, are you using that word as excessive?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do you have any reason to believe that any officer out there on the scene could not reasonably rely on the fact that another officer, trained, post-certified, is going to use only necessary force to effectuate an arrest?
That's right. That's what they do.
What?
That's correct.
So we don't have to have a team meeting before an arrest. It's like, now everybody uses necessary force on this one, okay? You don't have those kind of meetings, do you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Because you have to rely that they would utilize their training and only use necessary force. Is that right?
That's correct.
So if Emmett Martin is using unnecessary force while people are blind and can't breathe, do they have a duty to intervene if they can't see it?
If they can't see it, they can't intervene.
We've been talking a lot about the cops and what the cops' duties are when Emmett Martin is doing what he's doing and Haley's doing what he's doing. Let's talk about Nichols for a moment. Did you see anything in all the videos that you watched? Let me rewind. Mr. Bean over there, he chased Mr. Nichols. Is that right?
That's correct.
You've seen that video of his body cam. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Was there anything keeping Tyree Nichols when Bean had to tackle him? You agree with me? He had to tackle him, right?
Yes, sir.
Bean had no choice but to tackle the suspect, right?
To stop him, yes, sir.
Was there anything keeping Mr. Tyree Nichols from saying, "Oh, I'm done, I'm done"?
No, there wasn't.
Because Mr. Hagman asked you, what was keeping the officers from saying, whoa, I got this, we got this? I want to ask you, was there anything keeping Nichols from, as an expert, you know what a crime saturation unit is, don't you?
Basically, yes, sir.
And a crime saturation unit, as we've heard in this trial, is a unit that goes into high crime neighborhoods.
Yes, sir, it is.
Looking for specific types of crimes and the effects of crime. That's what we've been told. Is that what you understand to be?
That's what I understand, sir.
Would it surprise you to know that this unit, per officer, over a 3-year period, per officer, averages over 1,000 felony arrests? Would that surprise you? That's a bunch, isn't it?
It's a lot.
It's over 1.5. If you only work 5 days a week, that's about 2 a day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is my math right?
Yes, sir.
Those are felony arrests.
Yes, sir.
Now, would it surprise you that the members of this unit, on every one of those arrests, 80 to 90% of those arrestees have a hidden weapon on them? Would that surprise you?
Not at all.
So is that percentage for felony arrest, is that nationwide or is that just Memphis or what?
No, it's pretty much nationwide.
80 to 90% of the arrestees have a hidden weapon on them.
That's true.
So as Mr. Bean is running down the street and Mr. Smith is getting out of his car to help Bean get him handcuffed, does that mean there's an 80 to 90% chance that that suspect has a hidden weapon?
That's true.
Do you know what blading is?
Pardon me?
I do like get you on hearing. Do you know what blading is?
Blading. Well,
if I lay on my hip instead of laying on my back or on my belly, is that dangerous if a suspect is blading?
yes, sir.
In fact, blading can occur when you're laying on the ground on your hip, and blading can occur as I confront you. Isn't that blading?
That's blading also.
All right. So if I'm on the ground and I'm blading with a free hand, does that allow the suspect to get a weapon?
It certainly does.
And in all the videos you saw, did you ever see Nichols lay on his belly or on his back?
He laid on his belly, didn't lay on his belly nor on his back.
You said he did not?
Did not.
Right. He laid on his hip. He bladed the whole time, correct?
Yes, sir.
Are officers trained in your academies and other academies to watch out for blading?
Certainly, that's why we put them on their stomach.
Do officers who get a radio call, this is a national standard for lack of a better word, do officers who get a radio call requesting assistance with capturing an unsearched fleeing suspect who has been tased and sprayed, do they have the luxury of not responding to that?
No, they better not.
What happens if they do?
They get disciplined.
Okay. Do those officers hearing that call, do they have the luxury of taking their time to get there?
No, they have to expect.
And expedite means what?
Yes, sir.
Safely going through traffic lights that are marked. Mr. Heiderman was very precise when he asked you this question, so I want to be just as precise. As he went through each act of Emmett Martin, the punches. Remember, he went through punch 1, then he went to another punch 2, and I think he got 5 punches. Is that right?
I believe he did.
He would ask, when they see something like that, do the officers have a duty to intervene? And you answered every time. You answered yes.
Right.
But isn't the key word there in that question Mr. Hagman asked, when they see something like that?
Right. If they see it, they have to intervene. If they don't see it, they can't intervene.
Now, what is tunnel vision?
Tunnel vision is where you focus in on one thing. I may focus in on your waistband. I may focus in on your hands.
In critical incident, scientists have established what degree of tunnel vision does someone have?
I know the exact statistic.
Does 2 degrees sound right?
About right, yes.
Okay. So in a critical, what his safety is or risk is at that time, just treating it as a high risk arrest. And he has tunnel vision. Is this about 2 degrees?
About.
Now, if someone wears glasses, like I wear glasses, and you take the glasses off, now what's my vision? Is it less or more?
I think it's a lot less.
If I get shot in the eyes with OC spray, how much do I have?
Almost none.
How dangerous is one handcuff to a wrist?
Very dangerous.
You watched Justin Smith put one handcuff on the left wrist. You even used a photograph of it with Mr. Stengel. Is that right?
That's correct.
That photograph was taken in the sequence of events after the officers have been sprayed with spray. Is that right?
That's correct.
What is auditory exclusion?
Auditory exclusion is you cut down the sound outside because you're focusing on one thing.
It's like tunnel vision for your ears, isn't it?
Exactly.
Scientists have shown that people have gone into shootouts and everything else and not remember any of the shooting or any of the words said during the shooting. Is that right?
Right. Don't even hear the shots.
Until later, until they watch it on video and say, oh yeah, that looks like somebody did say that. That's not unusual, is it?
No, not at all.
Chasing a suspect with an 80 to 90% chance they have a hidden weapon on them down a dark street with OC spray in your face. Would that fall in the category of critical incident where officers have 2 degree or less tunnel vision and no hearing?
It certainly would.
In fact, you actually expect that to happen, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Officers out there on that street, Bear Creek and Castlegate, not like sitting here in this room watching it on TV, is it?
Not at all.
Videos from a body cam or a pole cam or anything else, they don't capture the exhaustion that a cop goes through, does it?
No.
It doesn't capture the fear that a cop is going through, does it?
Not at all.
No, that's all I have.
Mr. Cameron, before today, have you ever had any conversation independently with Darius Bean?
No, sir, I have not.
And today you have had any conversation with Darius Bean, right?
No.
And do you know whether or not Darius Bean had ever met Mr. Tyree Nichols before that evening?
I have no idea.
But you do know just from your experience in this particular case that one of the officers saw the suspect and he met a description, right?
Yes.
And you saw that that person who saw the suspect that met the description got out of the passenger side of the car. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And when he got out the passenger side of the car, whether or not that suspect had a gun, knife, baton, anything on this person, correct?
No, he did not.
Now, based off of your reading in the file and your research in this case and your participation on behalf of Mr. Haley, is it your understanding that that same suspect caused a bolo to go out regarding who he was? Be on the lookout for this particular person.
Correct.
Based off of your research, is it true that that suspect supposedly had overcome 3 men weighing in excess of 250 pounds based on the bolo?
Yes, sir.
Is it true that the person who hears that is expected to get out of the vehicle and travel down 80 yards of a dark street to apprehend this suspect based on what you testified a few moments ago as his job requirement?
It is his job requirement.
And based off of your observation this morning and in review, has Mr. and I'm going to say it, the person who got out of that car is Darius Bean. Is that in any way a violation of what you know as proper procedure, policy, etc.?
No, it's not.
He tackles him. He tackles him. Okay. That's not something that you do with people walking down the street on a regular basis. Right.
Not normally.
Right. So that is a use of force, though, correct?
Correct.
And at that point, you didn't see anything that was violative of a right or that was inappropriate or excessive, correct?
No, nothing at all.
Now, you have presented across the country at different occasions, right?
Yes, sir, I have.
And you've discussed yourself in the past the difference between ineffective force and excessive force.
Correct.
And those are two terms, and I think that you were given some terms a few moments ago, but there is a distinct distinction, according to what you said before, between what from a 100-yard away pole cam or 100-foot away pole cam might look as excessive versus what would look as or be in fact ineffective.
Exactly.
Can you tell this jury the difference between ineffective and excessive?
Ineffective is when you're not accomplishing what you're trying to accomplish. In most cases, get the person into custody, get him handcuffed. That's ineffective force.
When you're asking these, being asked questions by Mr. Hagerman regarding whether or not if the person comes up and you see them getting soccer kicked or what have you. Number one, could you tell spray hit him according to testimony, whether or not he could see that somebody is either about to kick or where they're about to kick this person?
I don't believe so.
All right. Now, you also said that based on what you were looking at, that the person who we know as Mr. Tyree Nichols was not coming into compliance, was he?
No, he wasn't.
Did it appear that his arms are moving, even from this 100-foot away pole cam? Did it appear that his arms are moving, etc.?
Yes, sir.
Now, does Mr. Bean have the same luxury as somebody who might be on the news looking at it and saying, oh, look, they look like they have him in custody right here? Does Mr. Bean have that luxury if he has OC spray in his eyes and he knows that this person is not handcuffed while he's standing over him, as it's been described? He doesn't. Does he have that same luxury if it's January 7th and it's 40? And in fact, he on that scene commands at least 30 times to give his hands. Does he have that same luxury that somebody watching or describing it on the news?
Not at all.
Does Mr. Bing have the luxury to know whether or not this person is running because they might have something stolen in their car? Does he have that luxury?
No. It's a known, unknown factor.
And so while he's out there and he has this person's hand, does he have the luxury to let it go during this fast?
His responsibility.
Now, this would be somewhat different than if he sees somebody choking a person, or if he sees somebody doing something to try to strangle him and he's looking from the side and he just says nothing. That's a different sequence, is it not?
Certainly is.
If he's engaged in trying to apprehend this person who refused to give his hand, and for a period of 14 seconds, he's holding one arm, Justice Smith is holding the other arm, and this person has not laid on the ground, has not done anything that he's been told to do, and he's trying to walk in a circle. If Mr. Bean has pepper spray in his eyes, if Mr. Bean has just run a dead sprint to try to catch this person, if Mr. Bean has tried to be overcome by what I at least see, does Mr. Bean have the luxury to let him go and have an altercation with another officer who might in fact use either excessive or ineffective force?
No, he can't let go.
Can he let go and say, hey, stop, man. This is not how they taught us in the academy. Can he do that?
No, he certainly can't.
Mr. Bean ain't on the news describing something. Mr. Bean is out there trying to get this person into custody. Mr. Bean is not Mr. Hagerman asking you questions and can get a do-over. Mr. Bean is holding this person. Can he put his life, the life of the suspect, above his and his fellow officers' lives if this man won't do a darn thing that he's been?
He certainly can.
And you didn't have to ask Mr. Bean a question to determine that, did you? You know that from your 50 plus years in law enforcement.
Correct.
And based on that, and if you had a chance to have those conversations with Mr. Bean, and he indicates that.
Oh shit, the defense attorney. I don't know what how long this objection gonna be. Could they end it for the day? Who knows? This 5 seconds at a time ain't gonna get it though. Okay, there he go. He bet. Brother man went off.
Based on the factors that we were just discussing, OC spray in the eyes, a non-compliant suspect, and the ability to try to get that person's hands into custody or cuffs. Is the person a consistent threat if you do not control that person's arms? And based off of the narrow scope and time and the movements of the suspect and what you have observed, and based on the conditions that we've talked about, those factors being in place, are Mr. Bean, who there's been no testimony that he struck this person in the head, that he kicked this person, or any of those things, would you then, based on those premises, have any sort of issues with Mr. Bean's conduct on that particular scene?
No, it was doing what I was trained to do, get the person into handcuffs.
Not going to hit you with the barrage. You don't have problems with Mr. Bean if he didn't see it, right?
Right, you didn't see it, you can't take any action.
Exactly. That's really the issue here. Simply put, if Mr. Smith and Mr. Bean saw that first soccer kick in the head, and they had a duty to intervene, correct?
Correct.
And if they didn't, that's part of the excessive force, right?
Right. It's not excessive force. So they didn't see it.
If they did see it.
I'm going to object. This is outside the scope of redirect.
There are a whole bunch of questions about the actions that took place that evening. I think as far as the questions, they encompass the questions that Mr. Hagerman is asking. So I'll allow those questions.
If Mr. Bean saw it, he has a duty to intervene, correct?
That's correct.
Because that Martin's first kick, soccer kick, was excessive, correct?
Correct.
Then he has a duty to intervene, correct?
Yes, he did.
If he saw those haymakers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, each one in between, if he saw those, he has a duty to intervene, correct?
That's correct.
And the same with Mr. Smith.
Correct.
So it's really a question of if they saw it or not, right?
That's correct.
I think we agree on that.
I think we do.
Either misheard you or you misspoke, because you made a statement when Mr. Perry was asking questions that you couldn't tell if Tyree was getting kicked or not.
I couldn't tell where he was being kicked.
Okay, you could tell that the kicks were making contact with him, correct?
It appeared that they were, just from his body language.
And so I'm wondering here where we're coming from, because you could so clearly tell for us that Mr. Haley kicked him in a certain spot.
Right.
Correct?
Correct.
And could you equally clearly see Martin kick him in the head?
I could see him kicking him, and it was towards his head.
Well, I think that's probably good enough to be unnecessary and excessive, right?
It certainly is.
That's all, Judge.
All right. Anything else from this witness? No, Judge. No, yeah. All right, so those are all the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Please watch yourself this weekend. That's right with our next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. Garrett O'Brien.
Officer O'Brien.
Yes, sir.
Could you please state your full name?
RRETTOBRIEN.
What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a police officer.
Have you been a Memphis, at one point, were you a Memphis police officer?
I was.
You are currently a police officer of one of the suburban towns here in Shelby County, is that right?
Yes.
How long were you a Memphis police officer?
For just over 10 years.
And when did you first become
12.
And so that, I'm doing the math, that puts you up to about 2022.
Yes, sir.
And then you transferred to another department. Now, during that period of time from 2012 to 2022, did you have occasion to know Mr. Justin Smith?
I did.
And you see Justin Smith here in the courtroom, is that right?
I do.
And in what capacity did you know Justin Smith?
I had executed a search warrant on a property.
Well, we have to bring the jury. Work with him at the Memphis Police Department?
Yes.
So Justin Smith worked for what division of the Memphis Police Department?
The Scorpion team.
Which is part of?
The organized crime unit.
That's right. And were you also a member of the OCU?
I was.
Okay. So as part of your role at the OCU, go ahead, you were executing a search warrant. Is that the first time you met Justin Smith?
Yes.
Okay. And since that time, I mean, we may get into that, okay? But since that time, did you make yourself familiar with Justin, become friends with Justin?
Since that time, we had worked.
Since that event?
Yes, we had spoken several times since that event.
Okay. And so did you work, and within OCU, did you have knowledge of his reputation within OCU?
Yes.
And what was that reputation within OCU or the Memphis Police Department?
He was a stand-up guy. Every conversation I had with him, any cases that I would work, I was a daytime team, was a auto theft investigator. Any case that I needed work in the evening, I had multiple conversations with him stating, hey, this is the report number. So this isn't just on the fly, on the wall, somebody might have said something. This is a legitimate case. These are the individuals I'm looking for. This is the car, the tag. This is the area that it might be in. If you happen to be in that area, can you please look for this vehicle? If you happen to look for it, do a continuation to that report. Here's my personal number. Reach out to me if you ever have to give me anything.
Okay. You may have misunderstood my question, or I may have said it wrong. What was Justin Smith's reputation within the Memphis Police Department or OCU? I haven't asked you about your impressions of him. Okay. What was his reputation within the Memphis Police Department?
He was a good, upstanding officer.
Was he a notch above or way above other officers?
From my recollection,
As a person, what was it?
it was a good opinion, good impression. And like I said, every time I had a conversation with him, it was very attentive. It wasn't just somebody that was just there to be there. He had a emotional investment in everything that I had to say to him.
I don't want to lead you, okay? But was he professional?
Yes,
Was there any other qualities that you might be able to share with the jury about Justin Smith?
he cared.
Cared about what?
He absolutely cared about the citizens and the people that we were looking for to bring this person to the appropriate justice that the court would see fit.
All right, now go to the search warrant that you wanted to jump right off into when you got here. So you did have an occasion to work a search warrant at a house on a search warrant. Did you ask Justin and others to assist you in hitting that house and get that search warrant served?
Yes, so I wrote the search warrant in the wee hours of the night after I received information of the stolen car that came from another state. I wrote the search warrant, had the search warrant signed by a judge, and then the on-duty team, which would have been the Scorpion team, came out to assist me. We knew the house to be unoccupied. It was an apartment complex. We knew it to be unoccupied. Once we make entry into the house, to the apartment, we then begin the search. During that search, $5,000 was found, roughly $5,000. Justin, who had been reading the warrant while the search was being done, come to me and said, hey, you can't take this money. The search warrant is not, this cash is not in the search warrant. You cannot take this money.
You're the one who wrote the search warrant. You're the one who had a judge sign the search warrant. You were about to take the $5,000 cash, and Justin, who really was just there to support you, pointed that out to you. Is that right?
Correct.
What would have happened to you if you'd have walked out of that apartment with that $5,000?
I probably would have had some legal headaches. God forbid somebody would try to say that I stole $5,000.
And that was not Justin's case, was it?
He had no say in the matter. He got nothing from me taking the money or nothing from me leaving the money.
Y'all, let's all have this with us.
Very. Single copies are on state.
No questions.
All right, so those are all ones we have for you. All right, that's your next witness.
Brian Emack.
Emack.
Emack, apparently. Maybe I'll read 503. Yep, we can wait on all that. Maybe a 503.
Stand right here, sir. Raise your right hand. Be sworn by the judge. So do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give today will be the truth and nothing but the truth to help you God? I do. All right, please that's it.
Could you please state your first and last name?
Brian Nemec, Nemec.
Mr. Nemec, up until recently, where were you employed?
Memphis Police Department,
How long were you employed with the Memphis Police Department?
a little over 32 years.
When you retired, could you give the jury the benefit of what your job was at the time of your, or around the time of your retirement?
The last 18 years of my career, I retired in April of this year. I was with the organized crime unit. I did different tasks over there as a supervisor of the two.
So let's with for 18 years.
I was a supervisor over a night shift drug team. I've been a supervisor over the day shift drug team. I've been a supervisor over the DEA task force officers, interstate interdiction. I've done the canines, a supervisor over canine handling, and over the meth team that did meth labs.
And OCU has many branches and tentacles. Is that right?
Correct.
Part of that is something called the CAT team.
Correct.
Then CJ Davis came, they turned it into the Scorpion team.
Correct.
Do you know, during your tenure of 18 years at OCU, did you have the occasion to have Justin Smith work for you?
I did.
When did Justin Smith first come to work for you?
It was in the early part of 2020.
So at that time, you had how many years experience at OCU and all those areas?
Roughly about 13.
So he came to work with you. You were a 13-year veteran of OCU. Is that right?
Correct.
What was your impressions of Justin when he first came to work for you?
He was new over there, and we were just starting up what was going to be called Cat 2, which is we already had a Cat 1, so we were building that up. It was going to be like a 12-man team.
CAT stands for what?
Criminal apprehension team.
And what was y'all's mission?
Basically, we use statistical data looking for hot spots in the city, and then we go out and address those hot spots.
And you described as hot spots. Is that high crime areas?
Yes.
High violent crimes?
Yes.
Car thefts?
Correct.
Carjackings?
Correct.
Stolen guns?
Yes.
Automatic weapons?
Yes.
And so this criminal apprehension team was being formed up, and you were going to be in charge of it?
Correct.
And Justin Smith was one of your officers wanting to be on your team, or you wanting him to be on your team?
He was assigned over there, and I was a supervisor that was starting it up. I was mainly a drug supervisor, but they had moved me over there temporarily to get the Cat team.
All right. And so now, based on that background, what was your impression of Justin as it relates to being able to do that job?
He came in, and one part of when somebody comes over there temporarily is to evaluate them and see, are they going to make it over here? It's not for everybody. I've had to cut a lot of people that just didn't make it, and I saw a lot of qualities in him, and you know, there's 12 people assigned to me, and I saw qualities in him that I liked.
What qualities?
He was a hard worker. I like the way he could write. You know, he kind of fit the bill of what we do. He could go in and do the job. He was I call him a motivator. He motivated other officers, and that's an important thing for us to keep these guys motivated. He was courteous, and he was very respectful to everybody and to his coworkers.
Okay. And that's what I was going to ask you. He was courteous and respectful to his coworkers. What about to members of the public?
Yes.
Did you personally observe that?
Yes.
Was that part of your evaluation to determine if he's going to fit in within the criminal apprehension team and work for you?
Yes.
And have you ever known him to be discourteous or anything negative when it comes to interacting with the public?
No.
And by interacting with the public, I'm talking about people that are armed felons. Have you ever seen him treat armed felons with any lack of respect?
No.
Would you describe him as compassionate?
Yes.
What about his temper? Does he have a temper?
I've never seen in the about 5 to 6 months, I've never seen him have a temper on the job. We did a lot of, afterwards, when something big event happens, we may talk about it the next day. We call it debriefing. We may debrief that night or the next day. And it's kind of talk about a bad situation. It's kind of a way that we can discuss what's the goods and the bads. And a lot of, there may be two officers that didn't like the way something happened, and they would, sometimes people get in arguments about it, and we should have done this, we should have done that. I've never had that, never saw that come out.
Okay.
Of Justin getting angry.
See, you being a police officer dealing with these type of interactions with people that I don't see. Okay? You deal with members of the public that Martin Zumach's never going to meet.
Yes.
Okay, so when you describe it as a big event, we don't know what a big event is. We think a circus is a big event. So what's a big event in the criminal apprehension team world?
It might be where you have a suspect bail out of a car, or you have a lengthy foot chase, and there may be a lot of moving parts. There may be an officer getting injured, and there may be, or you may be hitting a search warrant or something, and some kind of something happened inside the house that a particular team member saw it, and it should have been handled differently. Safety wise, there's a lot of safety. We talk a lot about safety in our job and everything. So we call those kind of.
Was Acosta a big event?
Acosta?
Yeah.
Yes.
Briefly, what was Acosta? Was he an undercover?
He was.
On this team? Or on this part of OCU?
He was on the drug team, yes.
And was he what?
Just driving down the street and got shot.
Purposely or accidentally?
Purposely.
And OCU folks from all across the city came because they could hear him on the radio, couldn't they?
Yes.
Is that a big event?
Yes.
You undersell it. What is a bad situation, or does that fall in the bad situation category?
That's a bad situation.
Okay. In fact, a couple of OCU folks totaled out cars trying to get there. Is that right?
They did.
A couple of them got disciplined. All right. Is Justin going to lose his cool in bad situations or big events?
No, I've not seen that.
Can I speak to my client for a moment?
No questions. I was wondering, you said 18 years in OCU, so
Yes, sir.
guess that's how long me and you know each other.
Correct.
We've worked a lot together.
Correct.
First, just a random question, and then I just have a few questions. What percentage of the people that you interact with, citizen-wise, civilians, or have armed secret weapons on them?
What I was is mainly plainclothes, and I wasn't in a mark unit. And I went out every day driving around looking. So I would go out and spot for the mark units, and my percentage of what I saw was high. It was I'd say 80%, 70 to 80%.
A large one.
Large number.
We actually worked at OCU together for a couple of years, right?
Correct.
Remember when I was over
Yes.
there?
Oh, yes, sir.
And we worked with some pretty hard people, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
Some sort of old school people.
Very old.
So, some harsh language.
Yes.
Wasn't always polite.
Nope.
They were demanding.
Correct.
Some crazy talking.
There was.
Do you remember a meeting where talking to everybody before the operation? I'm not saying go lay your hands on an MFer, but if you lay your hands on an MFer, lay your hands on an MFer. Sound like something maybe you've heard before?
Rule of thumb has always been, if you lay your hands on somebody, you have to lay your hands on them, they need to go to jail.
But I don't remember any sort of meeting in which it was said you have somebody on the ground side thinking of that.
No.
That'd be wrong.
Correct.
Even for those guys, those hard guys.
Yes.
I don't remember a meeting in which they said.
No, you did not.
I don't remember a meeting where they said, don't tell medical personnel about what happened to them.
No.
That would be beyond hard.
Yes.
Medical should be held accountable for excessive force.
Correct. Yes.
We believe they should be held accountable if they have the opportunity and don't intervene and
Yeah.
stop us.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
Jack.
I'm really thankful, Mr. Paul, for going into these areas, because I also know you to be that kind of person. But more importantly, you're not on trial for second-degree murder. Justin Smith is.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go through Mr. Hagerman's list. So some of them are not polite. Some of them are old school. Yeah. Is Justin Smith polite?
Yes.
In fact, is Justin Smith new school or old school?
He's new school.
That's right. He's not old school, is he?
No.
And the one thing you know about Justin Smith is if he saw someone like Emmett Martin soccer kick someone in the head like you've seen on the video, Justin Smith would be the first one to report it, wouldn't he?
Yes.
Justin Smith would be.
Yes.
You bet your reputation would stop Emmett Martin.
Yes.
Thank you.
Some swear affirm testimony given today will be the truth and nothing but the truth to help you God. Thank you. All right, who's that speaker?
Hello, could you please state your first name and last name, spell it slowly for the court reporter in the record?
First name, Mark Woch. Cicki.
What do you do for a living?
I am the missions pastor and church administrator at my church, Bartlett Hills Baptist Church.
And how long have you been doing that?
Over 2.5 years.
Before that job, what did you do for a living?
For over 25 years, I was a law enforcement officer with the City of Memphis Police Department. I retired as a lieutenant in charge of basic training at the Memphis Police Academy.
Okay, I was going to ask you what your different assignments were at the Memphis Police Department. So let's start with the training academy. And what did you train there?
I trained basic training, all of the basic police uniform patrol training for all the new recruits, in addition to defensive tactics, taking people into custody. I supervised every recruit.
Okay. And you did that for how long? You may have said it. Forgive me if you did.
2 years.
Before that, what did you do at the Memphis Police Department?
For approximately 2 years, I was in charge of the criminal apprehension team at the organized crime unit.
What years was that?
That was 2019 through January 21.
Okay. And before that, what did you do?
I was a supervisor in uniform patrol at Old Allen Alpha Shift, midnight shift for 1 year.
When did you first, do you know Justin Smith?
Justin Smith was,
yes?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
How many times did you testify for? About 1,000?
It's been a while.
Justin Smith.
Justin Smith was assigned to my unit in, I believe, August of 2020.
And then we are here, of course, about an arrest that occurred in January 7th, 2023. So when he came to your unit, was that Cat Team 1, Cat Team 2? What was it?
That was Cat Team 1.
And did it get its name changed at some point?
After I left, about a year or so after I left, it evolved into, changed into what they call the Scorpion unit now.
Will it be safe to say that we refer to the Cat Team 1 or Scorpion Team 1? When you were in charge of Cat Team 1, was Justin Smith one of your officers?
Yes, sir.
Describe what Justin Smith's reputation was within organized crime when you were there?
Justin Smith was a highly professional. He was the kind of officer you'd want living right next door to you.
What's your personal opinion of Justin Smith?
He's an honorable, professional, dedicated man and husband of God.
All right. And over there in the cat team and Scorpion team, y'all dealt with very dangerous customers, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And it takes a special kind of police officer to, number one, keep themselves safe, keep the other officers safe, and keep the situation under control. Could you tell this jury about how Justin Smith fit that mold?
So when I was in charge of the cat team, every day we'd have some kind of training of going over how to take suspects into custody, how to do things such as search warrants where there's guns, weapons, drugs, money involved. We'd go over the procedures, we'd go over safety, and we'd go over how to take people safely into custody.
And how did Justin Smith do in that environment?
I observed Justin directly, and there have been several times where we've had suspects that were non-compliant that we took into custody with minimal incident, because that's what we want to do. We want to make sure we take people into custody that are supposedly, accused of crimes with the least amount of force necessary to accomplish those duties.
Is that how Justin Smith did his job?
Absolutely.
Do you have any reason to believe that Justin changed the way he was doing his job after you left?
No, sir. In fact, there were several times Justin Smith had came out to the training academy for specialized training to get better at his job.
I'd like you to share with the jury about your experience with OC spray in the eyes, trying to take somebody into custody with Justin Smith.
So way back, let's go way back to 1999. Myself and a couple of other officers, Dwight Mann and Greg McGoy, we had to take a domestic violence suspect into custody. And I tried to spray the suspect, and he ended up spraying me. And that was way back when it was just OC, which is oleoresin capsaicin, not the OCCS 5.5% that they have now. That was back when they had the 1%. So this stuff is like 5.5 times stronger that they use now than they used back then. And I mean, it knocked me. It really knocked me for a loop. I could only think about keeping this guy's hands, this guy's arms secure. I couldn't figure out what else was going on.
Let me fast forward a little bit. Have you been out on operations with Justin Smith?
Absolutely.
Have you seen Justin Smith take people into custody?
I've taken people into custody with
That's
Justin
what I was
Smith.
asking you. My actual question was, tell us about the time you took people into custody with Justin Smith.
So there was one time, it was up around who had felony warrants, and we got him out of the car, and he struggled and he ran away from us, and we took him to the ground.
Who's we?
Justin Smith, myself, Desmond Mills. I had the suspect's right hand. Justin had his left hand, and Desmond had his legs. And we wrestled his arms to the back and took him into custody. We then took him to the hospital, make sure he wasn't injured, and took him into 201 Poplar.
What rank were you?
Lieutenant.
So as a lieutenant, you're on the ground with a suspect. Was the suspect as big as I am?
A little bit bigger. About your build is probably about 2 inches taller.
Took three of you?
3 of us, yes.
Okay. Now, you've got children, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Would you trust Justin Smith to arrest your children?
Absolutely.
Even if they were guilty of a violent crime?
Especially if they were guilty of a violent crime, because I know that what Justin would do, he would operate on the facts, and he would do what he does, do his job as efficiently, as safely as possible. And if that meant using force, he would be able to explain why he used force.
Is Justin going to cover up for anybody else?
Absolutely not.
Is he going to lie?
No, that's not in his character.
Is he capable of abusing a suspect? Is he capable of abusing a suspect to your knowledge?
That's, from my knowledge of Justin Smith, that's not in his nature.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Nothing for us. Nothing. Got it. All right, thank you.
We had another witness come in here and talk about what somebody's capable of or not, but you would agree with me that people are capable of a lot of things.
Is a different thing.
I think that's probably why you corrected the question, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can all be capable of things, but this is not in Justin's nature.
We can all be capable of things, and for that reason, we all disappoint each other, or can disappoint each other, right?
Yeah, I'm following you.
That's correct, right?
Yeah, we can disappoint each other.
And if Justin were to disappoint us, if Justin were to see excessive force and not intervene,
See it, and that's the key in my mind is to see it. I've been pepper sprayed. I know what it does to me.
if you were to see it, should he be held accountable?
Yes,
If he were to take part in it, see it, should he be held accountable?
if he were to have willingly taken part and knowingly taken part, then yes. But if his perception is diminished for certain things, if his goal is to get the guy's hand behind his back and he's struggling with somebody to get into custody, I mean, I'd be more, from myself, I would be concerned about getting the guy's hands behind his back or whatever. If I've been sprayed, I might not see it. That's more than likely I wouldn't see it.
And again, I've asked you 3 times now, and I've said each time, if he saw it, or if you want to put yourself in there, if you saw it. If you saw another officer soccer kicking somebody in the head and you didn't intervene, do you believe that you should be held accountable?
Absolutely.
If you saw another officer throwing haymakers at somebody's head while he was defenseless, do you believe you should be held accountable?
And I did nothing about it?
Exactly.
Yes.
If you didn't even say stop. If you withheld medical information from first responders about that same person, the one that did kick or throw haymakers, if you saw it, do you believe you should be held responsible, accountable?
If I saw it
Yes.
and I knew that it had happened
Yes.
and I said nothing about it,
Yes.
then I should be held accountable.
You finished?
Yes.
It may be the Southern Baptist pastor coming out to you, but you use the word nature, Justin Smith's nature, right?
Yes.
What is Justin Smith's nature when it comes to dealing with Trump?
His character, his nature, his person, who he is, he got into police work to help people.
So knowing what his nature is and having seen the videos that all of us have seen, did Justin Smith see those haymakers?
Your Honor, this calls for absolute speculation.
Knowing Justin as you know him, would he ever withhold medical treatment from someone?
Absolutely not.
That's all I have.
Anything else to this witness?
No.
Thanks for those other questions.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Perry, citizen number.
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Dumont. No. All right, having that been said, ladies and gentlemen, the defense.
All right, y'all. That was it for day 6. The defense rested their case with the witnesses and stuff. And tonight we'll pick up on closing arguments. And they're still doing closing arguments today. But we're only one day behind after I get through with tonight. But all right, y'all. Until the next episode, we out. Oh, I'm about to hit the wrong one. I hit leave studio. I don't need to hit that. Never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shoot his bitch ass with the quickness. Now he bleeding, sorry, baby, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 limp biscuit. All my niggas wildin', they done labeled us some misfits. Wake up every morning, 2 or 3, 5 in the tidbit. Oh shit, didn't nobody come to see you old. It's some focus, shoot 100 shots, no reloaded. Master of the game, you would think I'm into coded. Memphis niggas spit this pimpin', mackin' like I'm golden. Ho, where my money, you gon' turn me to the old me. Say hi, first class flight, I'm in the nosebleed. Hoppin', cookin', whippin', shippin', till you count the proceeds. OG, I've been moving back niggas since 03. Low key, niggas hating but they don't want no beef. State gang, true sippers, bitch, I bet we gon' eat. Get jammed, get a lawyer, make it burn it, don't speak. Pour up, oh, I need some more, nigga had a long week. Shout out to my plug, he showed me love, he out in Long Beach. I'm true geek, walking by myself but left with 2 freaks. Ooh, we nothing in they mouth and on they booty. Austin Power swag, yeah, baby, this is groovy. You can call me Money Boy or you can call me Nudie. Hood niggas, churches, chicken, let me get a 2-piece. Top down, 2-seater, let me feel the 2 breathe. Gotta hold it steady, chopper, kick it back like Bruce Lee. Lately I've been in the zone, I guess I'm in my 2-3. Don't call my phone for nothing less than a QP. Feeling like the Migos, cause my bitch is bad and bougie. All my haters love me, all these bitches is some groupies. Came a long way, I like to introduce the new me. Standing on business like I'm king or like I'm Drewski. Call me Ron Island cause I like my love for choosy. When we link it's a movie, she bustin' like a Uzi. I love the way she do me, I beat it up like Uzi. She dancing just like Suki. Call me Ron Island cause I look my love for choosy. When we link it's a movie, she bustin' like a Uzi. I love the way she do me, I beat it up like Uzi. She dancing just like Suki. I never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Niggas talking reckless, shoot his bitch ass with the quickness. Name pleading, sorry, baby, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 Limp Biscuit. Never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shoot his bitch ass with the quickness. Name pleading, sorry, baby, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 Limp Biscuit.